All right. So we are going to our exegetical study of Yakhazaqal 15. So this chapter is short but powerful allegory comparing Yarushalam and by extension Israel to a vine that has become useless and destined for fire. Now Yahuah through the prophet emphasizes that Yasharal chosen status does not exempt them from right ruling. So we're gonna ask someone to read for us Yakhazaqal 15.
I'll read it.
All right.
I'll take it on.
Go ahead.
Then the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Ban Adam, how is the vine tree better than any tree? The vine branch that has been among the trees of the forest. Is wood taken from it to be made into any work? Do they take a peg from it to hang any vessel on? See, into the fire it shall be given for fuel. Both ends of it the fire shall burn, and its middle shall be scorched. Is it fit for any work? See, when it was intact, it was not made for work. How much less when the fire has burnt it, and it is scorched, shall it still be used for work? Therefore, thus said the Master Yahuah, as a vine tree among the trees of the forest, which I have given to the fire for fuel, so I shall give up the inhabitants of Yarushalam, and I shall turn my face against them. They shall go out from one fire, but another fire consumes them. And you shall know that I am Yahuah when I turn my face against them. And I shall make the land a wasteland because they committed trespass, declares the Master Yahuah.
Torah for reading. Barak Yahuah. So unlike Yakhazaqal 16, which uses marriage imagery, and Yakhazaqal 17, which uses an eagle and cedar tree. This chapter, Yakhazaqal 15, uses the vine, a common spiritual symbol of Israel. So what we're going to do, so I'm going to ask individual to read the scripture that you're seeing on your screen. I'm going to ask someone to read Thahal, Psalms 80, verse 8 to 16, Yasharal, Isaiah 5, 1 to 7, Uzziah, Usha, 10, verse 1.
To the chief singer of lilies of witness, a psalm of Asaph. Give ear, O shepherd of Israel, who leads Joseph like a flock, who dwells between the cherubim, shine forth before Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh. Stir up your might and come and save us. Cause us to turn back, O Lord, and cause your face to shine, that we might be saved. That's 8 through 16. I'm sorry.
No,
You brought, this is 8. You brought a vine out of Mizraim and drove out the nations and planted it. You cleared a place for it and caused it to take deep root, and it filled the land. Hills were covered with its shadow, and the mighty cedars with its twigs. She spread her branches to the sea and her shouts to the river. Why have you broken down her hedges so that every passerby plucked her fruit? The boar out of the forest ravages it, and the wild beast of the field devours it. Return, we beg you, O Lord of hosts. Look down from the Shamayim and see.
continue.
And visit this vine and the stock which your right hand has planted, and the bin whom you made strong for yourself. It is burned with fire, it is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your face.
All right, to the
So,
for reading. To the for reading. Yashayahu 5, 1-7.
Yasharal, please let me sing to the one I love, a song of my loved one regarding his vineyard. My loved one has a vineyard on a fertile hill, and he dug it up and cleared it up of stones and planted it with the choicest vine and built a watchtower in its midst and also made a winepress in it. And he waited for the yielding of grapes, but it yielded rotten ones. And now, O inhabitant of Jerusalem and man of Yehudah, please judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Why, when I waited for the yielding of grapes, did it yield rotten ones? And now, please let me inform you what I am doing to my vineyard. To take away its hedge, and it shall be burned. To break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down. And I lay it waste. It is not pruned or dug, and thorn bushes and weeds shall come up. And I command the clouds not to rain on it.
Verse 7.
Oh, well, the vineyard of Yahuah of hosts is the house of Yasharal, and the man of Yehudah is his pleasant plant. He looked by right ruling, but see oppression, for righteousness, but see weeping.
All right, to the for reading. Yahuah. All right, so Isaiah is taking that one.
I can take it.
All right,
Israel is a degenerate vine. He brings forth fruit for himself. As his fruit increased, he increased the altars, and the better his land, the better they made the pillars.
All right, to the for reading. And throughout all three scripture, if you can clearly see the message that is coming out is that if Yasharal does not fulfill their purpose, it is worthless and they are destined for destruction. So looking at verse 1 and 2, and this is the introduction of the allegory. So prophetic formula. So this phrase, Hu Yahai Dabar Yahuah Ali, appears often in Yakhazaq'al to introduce a new revelation from Yahuah.
And what does that mean?
To come to...
No. What is the phrase?
Oh, phrase.
Of course, we're talking about Yakhazaqal 15 for those who are not certain.
So that phrase means the word of Yahuah came to be.
Came to me.
Or came to me.
And of course, the U means and.
And. So this indicates that what follows is divinely ordained truth and not Yakhazaq'al's personal reflection. Now the vine versus other trees. So the vine as a symbol of Yasharal. So in Thahal 80, verse 8 to 16 that we just read, Yasharal is depicted as a vine planted by Yahuah. And according to Yasharal, or Isaiah 5, verse 1 to 7, Yahuah described Israel as a vineyard that failed to bear ripe fruit. So, comparison with forest trees. Unlike a cedar, symbol of strength, Yakhazaqal 31 verse 3, which we're going to read, the vine is weak and dependent on cultivation. So I'm going to ask someone to read Yakhazaqal 31 verse 3.
See Asher as a cedar in Lebanon, lovely branches and forest shade, and on a high statue, and its top was among the thick foliage.
All right, Toda for read. So if a vine does not produce fruit, it has no use. It is not right for timber or any structural purpose. So the key Hebraic idea, a fruitful vine is equal to the obedient Yasharal. A barren or dry vine is equal to Yasharal in rebellion. So that's a comparison that is made here. So Yasharal producing fruit, the vine producing fruit is symbolic to Yasharal obeying Yahuah, and a vine that is dried or barren is showing that Israel has become a nation that rebel against Yahuah. So how is the vine better? Yahuah challenges Israel's assumption of special status. The vine is fragile and weak. It has no strength or function beyond producing fruit. And this scripture that we read earlier, Talahim or Psalms 80, verse 8 to 16, and Yasharal 5, verse 1 to 7, clearly describe Israel as a vine planted by Yahuah, but they fail to bear fruit. Oh, hope you understand that. Hope you don't miss that. Even though they are planted by Yahuah, they fail to bear fruit because of Israel and they're disobedient to Yahuah. So looking at verse 3, unlike oak, cedar, or acacia, vinewood is too weak to be carved into anything useful. Even small items like pegs cannot be made from it. This emphasizes that Israel lack of value apart from obedience to Yahuah. Looking at verse 4. If a vine does not produce fruit, its only use is firewood. The fire represents right ruling. Yarushalam is about to be destroyed by Babylon. Two ends burn, middle charred. Jerusalem had already suffered invasion, but the final destruction was coming. And we're going to look at 2nd Malachi or 2nd Kings 20:24. Well, it's something that we can go through. Let me see if we can. In your spare time. And so it's basically talking about the destruction that was coming to Yarushalam. So fire is used as right ruling. So looking at Talahim or Thahal or Psalms 97, a fire goes before him and burns up his enemies. So we're going to ask someone to read Thahal 97 verse 3.
Fire goes before him and burns up his adversaries around and about.
Toda. And Malachi 4. Can I ask someone to read that for us?
Malachi 4:1.
And
For look, the Yom shall come, burning like a furnace, and all the proud, and every wicked one shall be stubble. And the Yom that shall come shall burn them up, said Yahuah of hosts, which leads to them neither root nor branch.
all right, Toda. So here we see the wicked will be burned like stubble. So both ends are burned. So could symbolize the destruction of Israel or Yehudah, both the northern reign, Ephraim, and the southern reign, Yehudah, have faced right ruling. The middle of that represent those in exile but still facing the consequences. So if Israel was already weak, how much worse after right ruling? Can it even get worse? If Israel was unprofitable when intact, how much more when under right ruling? And we're going to look at Jeremiah 2, verse 21. Gonna ask someone to read it for us.
Yet I have planted you a choice vine, all of it a true seed. How then have you turned before me into the degenerate plant of a strange vine?
All right, so that's for reading. So Israel already weak, and yet going through them being disobedient and not following the word of Yahuah, you can just imagine the punishment that they're going to go under, knowing that they have gone against the word of Yahuah. So they're going to go through that hardship or that challenge, or let's use the word, or that challenge that because of their mistake of not following what Yahuah has laid out for them, by not following the word of Yahuah. So Yarushalam, already corrupt, would not survive the fire of Yahuah's right ruling. And we can look at Jeremiah 21, verse 10.
For I have turned my face against this city for evil and not for good, declares Yahuah. It is given into the hand of the sovereign of Babel, and he shall burn it with fire.
So that for reading, you see, once Yahuah turn his face away from you, that is not looking quite great for anyone. It can't, because that means Yahuah is taking himself away from you and you're on your own. And this is what is happening here with Yasharal. Yahuah leaving them up to their own should I say stubbornness, to their own choices. Even though after several tried to reach out to Yasharal and let them know that I am here, your people, I'm here for you. But because of their stubbornness and they want to walk away and do their own thing and go against the words of Yahuah, Yahuah left them to their own demise.
That sounds like verse 2 Thessalonian, I think it's 2, 9, 10. It sounds like that, if I'm correct.
That's correct. That's the one about reprobating mind, right?
I think
Yes, I believe so.
Could you double check for us?
Yes.
All right. Moving on. Just let us know when you find. So right ruling, looking at even a unfruitful vine. Can you hear me? Hello, Master Parker.
Con.
All right. So looking at verse 6, right ruling is confirmed. Even as an unfruitful vine is fit only for fire, so too Yarushalam will be consumed by Yahuah's right ruling. And we're going to take a look at 2nd Malachi or 2nd Kings, chapter 25, verse 9. And I also want to read it for us.
And he burned the house of Yahuah, and the house of the sovereign, and all the house of Yasharal. Even every great house he burned with fire.
Even every great house he burned with fire. Toda for reading. So Nebuzaradan, captain of Toda, captain of Babylon's army, burned the temple and city. The vine, which represents Yarushalam, is already due. The fire is the Babylonian siege and destruction. And this took place in 586 BCE.
Before Christ existed.
Yeah. Did you find the scripture for us?
Oh, for Amos?
Khan.
The bar?
Khan.
Go ahead and read it.
Okay, you can tell me if it sounds the same. It's 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 9 to 12. The coming is against the working of Satan with all his power and signs and wonders of falsehood, and with all deceit of unrighteousness in those perishing, because they did not receive the love of the truth in order for them to be saved. And for this reason, Elohim sends them a working of delusion for them to believe the falsehood, in order that all should be judged who did not believe the truth, but had delighted in the unrighteousness.
To the reading. That's one of them. I think that the other one is Romahim 1, verse 28. I think is another one. Could someone just read that for us real quickly?
What you want us to read?
Romahim 1 or Romans 1, verse 28.
I was ready for Amos. Somebody else can take it if you can.
Okay, you said 128.
Yeah, Khan.
For he is not Yahudah, who is outwardly, neither is circumcision that which is outward in the flesh.
That's Romans 1, verse 28, right?
I'm sorry, that's 2:28. And even as they did not think it worthwhile to possess the knowledge of Elohim, Elohim gave them over to a worthless mind to do what is improper.
Well,
Total for reading. So both scripture go hand in hand right there. Total for reading.
He gave them over and let them do what they want to do.
Yeah, that's what he did. So you see, so we have scripture witnessing each other right there again. There's so much evidence there that they always say that the Torah is done away with, but on a daily basis as we go to realize there's more evidence leading to that the Torah is not done away with, because there is always a witness going on in some part of the scripture itself. So even though Israel has a special status, this did not exempt them from right ruling. And we're going to look at Amos.
Or Amos.
Amos 3, verse 2.
Amos. Gotcha. You alone have I known all the clans of the earth. Therefore, I punish you for all your wickednesses. Whew.
Toda for reading. That's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say you alone have known of all the clans of the rats. But therefore I punish you for all your crookedness. Remember?
It's like a parent having their child versus someone else's child. And both of them do something wrong, but you punish your child more severely than you would the other child because you know your child and your child should know better because you know raise that child. So the punishment is more severe for your own child than it is for someone else's child.
And Yasharal belongs to Yahuah. And he's gonna punish Yasharal the artist. Yahuah. We love you. We love you, Yahuah. So verse 7. One fire to another. Some Israelite might survive one disaster or invasion or exile, but another right ruling will come. Know that I am Yahuah. This is a phrase repeat throughout Yakhazaq'al, emphasizing right ruling as a means of revelation. So position my face against them. Active divine right ruling. And we're going to read a few scripture. We're going to look at Uikara, Leviticus 26 verse 17. Amos 5 verse 9. And I'm going to ask someone to get Jeremiah or Jeremiah 15 verse 2.
What you say, 17?
Khan.
And I shall turn my face against you, and you shall be smitten before your enemies. And those who hate you shall rule over you, and you shall flee when no one pursues you.
Toda for reading. And Amos 5.
As when a man flees from a lion, and a bear shall meet him, or entered his house, rested his hand on the wall, and a serpent shall bite him.
All right, Toda for reading. And Jeremiah 15 verse 2.
And it shall be, when they say to you, where do we go? Then you shall say to them, thus said Yahuah, those for death to death, and those for the sword to the sword, and those for scarcity of food to scarcity of food, and those for captivity to captivity.
Wow. Toda for reading. Toda for reading.
That's serious.
That it is serious. It
is as though you're pretty much saying, listen, if this don't catch you, something else will.
Yeah.
But you will not escape the right ruling of the Most High Yahuah. Once you have been rebellious, you have not returned to him, something is going to get you. And pretty much you're going to be sorry. Wow. That is if you even live to be sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. It is so deep. Barak Yahuah. So aside. Go ahead.
So in knowing what we just found out, I mean, I've been new, like, right, but you know, when you just like go over it again, you know, your heart beat a little extra, you know, when you get a little more fearful. And then now you feel more for the people who don't listen to you, especially, you know, the closest ones to you. So my question is, we in it, right? But say he catch us on the first one. I mean, we still go to our resting place until we be judged, correct? If he take us on the first round and we in him, do we be taken to our resting place until he raises up?
Well, Daniel did state prophetically that those who die in righteousness or in Yahuah will be raised onto everlasting Kai, and those who die outside of that onto everlasting destruction.
There you go. Okay, just checking.
God.
Yada Yahuah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So a cycle of disasters. Survivors of one calamity will fall into another.
Mm.
Yep. So verse 8, desolation as the final decree. Desolation of the land, covenant curse. So the desolation of the land is equal to the covenant curse. So we're going to look at Dabarim 28, verse 49 to 52, and we're going to look at Uikara, Leviticus 26, verse 33 to 35.
Okay, 49. Yahuah brings a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you shall not understand, a fierce-looking nation, which shows no regard for the elderly, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the fruits of your livestock and the fruit of your land until you are destroyed. They leave you no grain, nor new wine, nor oil, nor the increase of your cattle or the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. And they shall deceive you at all your gates till your high and fenced walls, in which you are trusting, come down in all your land. And they shall besiege you at all your gates and all your land, which Yahuah your Elohim has given you.
No, read it. All right. We call Leviticus 26, verse 33 to 35.
Yeah.
And I shall scatter you among the Gentiles and draw a sword after you. Your land shall be desert, and your cities ruins. And the land enjoyed its Shabbath as long as it lies waste, and you are in your enemy's land. Then the land will rest and enjoy its Shabbaths. As long as it lies waste, it rests. For the time it did not rest on your Shabbat when you dwelt in it.
So that's for reading. I don't know, those who have been with us from we started this series, have you realized that these two scripture is always coming up? I don't know if anyone realized,
Con.
always coming up, speaking about what will happen to us when we disobey, or what happened to Israel when they disobey Yahuah. How the land will be destroyed if Israel forsake Yahuah, and the land itself will rest when the people are exiled. These two scripture always popping up during the series that we are doing so far with Yakhazaq'al or Ezekiel. So it is important for us, Mas Parker, to, as much as possible, to align ourselves with Yahuah. If there is something that we discover today that is not aligned with Yahuah, again, let us get on board with that. Let us do it immediately. Let us not wait and say next week or a week after that or next yom. Let's do it immediately.
Do what?
Whatever we discover that that needed to be aligned, because I'm sure we don't know everything in the scriptures yet, but as we read, and if we see something that, okay, we should be doing this and we're not doing it, then we need to align ourselves to doing it. The Hebraic mal means to act treacherously, to betray. A strong word used for covenant breaking. So we're gonna look at Yahusha Banun or Joshua 7 verse 1.
But the children of Israel committed a trespass regarding that which is under the ban. For Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zabdi, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehudah, took that which is under the ban, and the displeasure of Yahuah burned against the children of Yasharal.
Toda, for reading. So here we see the word mal being used as betrayal, where Achan committed a crime against Yahuah. All right. So Israel idolatry and unrighteousness were direct violation of the covenant.
Of course, it's interesting that the word mal is there, and that even in English is used to represent something that is bad or negative. So, for example, you talk about malpractices. These are practices of bad practices.
Malfunction.
Malfunctioning, right? Can't.
Right. Like girls, y'all probably say malpractice.
So the destruction was not random.
Joseph.
Covenantal consequence. So Yasharal, get on board.
I'm sorry, Daryl said
Adjustment.
Maladjustment.
So, the inability to adjust or poorly adjusted.
Right, fully. There you go.
All right. All right, Ms. Parker.
Or in something in your profession, like a counselor's profession, they would say that someone is displaying maladaptive behaviors.
There you go. Yeah, we use that word. Maladaptive behavior. Yeah.
All right, Mama Sparkle, we are about to go on a break for about it seems like I missed something. All right, so let us continue. So the thematic and Hebraic insight. Yasharal privilege status had a purpose. The vine was planted to bear fruit, righteousness, or obedience. When it failed, it became useless and was fit only for destruction. Looking at covenant relationship is conditional. In
Abrahamic.
the Abrahamic covenant promised barakah, or some may know as blessing
or
prosperity. But the Mosaic
covenant of Moshe.
Covenant outline consequences for disobedience. Israel's status was tied to their obedience. They could not rely on their identity alone. So we're going to look at Jeremiah 7, verse 4 to 7, and Matthew 3, verse 9 to 10.
Okay, I got the 7. Do not trust in these false words, saying, this is the Yakhazaq'al of Yahuah, the Yakhazaq'al of Yahuah, the Yakhazaq'al of Yahuah. For if you truly make your ways and your deeds good, if you truly do right ruling between a man and his neighbor, if you do not oppress the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and do not shed innocent blood in this place, or walk after other mighty ones to your own evil, then I shall let you dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever.
All right, so for reading, Matthew 9, 3, verse 9 to 10.
And do not think to say to yourselves, we have Abraham as father. For I say to you that the Lord is able to raise up children to Abraham from these stones. And the axe is already laid to the root of the tree. Every tree, then, which does not bear good fruit, is cut down and thrown into the fire.
So this I don't know if you realize there are some who believe because of their identity, they are all rely on their identity of who they are, not realizing that they have to honor Yahuah by keeping his covenant, and not only because of their identity. There are some, for example, there are some groups that believe because they're calling on the name of Yahuah, believe that's it, and that's it only. They don't need to do anything else as long as the name align with the word. But looking past or overlooking the fact that there's a deeper thing than just the name of Yahuah itself. It's more than just calling on his name. It's have to do with his word and obeying his word. So fire as right ruling in Hebraic thought. Fire is often used in scripture as purification or destruction. Refinement for righteous. We're going to look at Zechariah 13, verse 9. and Malachi 3, verse 2 to 3. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to ask someone else to get Yeshayahu or Isaiah 33, verse 14. And we can do Amos 5, verse 6.
Zachariah
Zachariah
13:9.
Zachariah. Yeah, Khan.
And I shall bring the third into fire, and refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I shall answer them. I shall say, This is my people, while they say, Yahuah is my Elohim.
Toda, for reading. Malachi.
Yes. And who is able to bear the day of his coming? No one. And who is able to stand when he appears? No one. For he is like the fire of a refiner, and like the soap of a launderer. And he shall sit as a refiner and a cleanser of silver. And he shall cleanse the sons of Levi, Lau, and refine them as gold and silver, and they shall belong to Yahuah, bringing near an offering in righteousness.
That's the song Louis.
Louis, gotcha. Louis.
All right. Toda for reading. Yeshayahu or Isaiah 33, verse 14.
Fire as destruction.
And Zion shall be afraid. Trembling shall grip the defiled ones. Who of us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who of us shall dwell with everlasting burnings?
Toda. And Amos 5, verse 6.
Seek Yahuah and live, lest he break out like fire upon the house of Yasaf, and shall consume it with no one to quench it in Baith Al.
Toda for reading. And here we see the fire being used as destruction for the wicked or the lawless. So Yakhazaqal 5, verse 8 to 9. This already stated that Yarushalam was worse than the nation around them. Their right ruling was not unfair, it was necessary. We're going to ask someone just to remind us of Yakhazaqal 5, verse 5 to 8.
15.
Yakhazaq'al.
Okay.
Thus said the Master Yahuah, This is Yarushalam, which I have placed in the midst of the Gentiles, with the lands all around her. But she rebelled against my right rulings, doing wickedness more than the Gentiles, and my laws more than the lands all around her. For they have rejected my right rulings, and they have not walked in my laws. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahuah, because you have rebelled more than the Gentiles all around you, and have not walked in my laws, nor done my right rulings, nor even done according to the right rulings of the Gentiles all around you. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahuah, Look, I myself am against you, and I shall execute judgments in your midst before the eyes of the Gentiles.
All right, total for reading.
That's embarrassing. Before the eyes of the other nation. Because Gentiles comes from Goyim. which means other nations. So that's like embarrassing you before other nations.
Khan.
Hold up for sharing.
Babakasha.
So parallels with Yahusha's teaching. So Yahusha used a similar vine imagery, and we can look at Yochanan or John 15, verse 1 to 6.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every branch in me that bears no fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, so that it bears more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Stay in me, and I in you. As the branch is unable to bear fruit of itself, unless it says in the vine, so neither you, unless you stay in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who stays in me, and I in him, he bears much fruit, because without me, you are able to do naught. If anyone does not stay in me, he is thrown away as a branch and dries up, and they gather them and throw them into the fire, and they are burned.
So that's for reading. And verse 5 will say, I am the vine, you are the branches. This is what is said in the abridged. Branches is not sareem. All right?
So we were never called Christians.
Right.
Yahusha says we're the branches. We're the Nazarene. And
Right.
Nazarene also means keepers of the Torah or guardians of the Torah.
Khan. Yada Yahuah.
Yeah, they are.
Of course, the singular form
It's
is a Natsar.
Not sir.
One
Natsar.
person, Natsar,
A
more than
group.
one person's
Natsar.
Nazarene.
So,
Khan.
All right.
is that Nastar
And
or NA?
Yes. So it's the Nun, the Sad, Rash. So Natsar.
Right in your name. Not
I
sir.
got you.
Yahuah.
Khan. So we are the
Nazarene
Nazarene of Yahuah.
Khan.
All
That's
right.
where the name comes from. Yeah.
Branches.
We are the branch.
Okay.
Torah. Keepers of the Torah.
Khan. And branches
Our branches. Keep on.
connected to the vine.
Yada Yahuah. Sounds good.
Yeah. So, Toda, to everyone for sharing. So, Yasharal purpose was to produce fruit. Without it, they would be removed. And we can take a look at Deuteronomy 7 or Deuteronomy 7, verse 6 to 8.
Gotcha. For you are a Kodesh people to Yahuah, your Elohim. Yahuah, your Elohim, has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the peoples on the face of the earth. Yahuah.
Yahuah.
It's still on page.
Yahuah.
You have verse 7 and 8.
Yeah. Yahuah did not place his love on you, nor choose you because you were more numerous than any other people. For you were the least of all peoples. But because of Yahuah loving you, and because of him guarding the oath which he swore to your fathers, Yahuah has brought you out with a strong hand and redeemed you from the house of bondage. from the hand of Pharaoh, servant of Mitzrayim. Sudah.
Sudah for reading. Wow.
And just for those who may be listening to the recording, you may also hear persons refer to us as the Kadashim or the Kodashim. Has anyone heard that?
Yep.
So that would come also from scripture. So in Torah, I believe it's Oikara. Let me find it first.
Oikara.
We're called the Kadashim. Continue, I'll find it.
All right. All right. So, remnant. Though Yarushalam will be burned, a remnant will survive. We're gonna ask someone to read Yakhazaqal Ezekiel 6, verse 8, and Yeshayahu 10, verse 22.
I shall leave a remnant, and that some of you shall escape the sword among the Gentiles, when you are scattered throughout the lands.
All right. So, Yashayahu.
Although your people, O Israel, be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, a decisive and overflowing righteousness.
For reading. So even though there's punishment, Yahuah still find it in his favor, his kindness, to still leave a remnant for us. Still leave a remnant for us. All right. So on the screen we have Thahal 119, 121 to 128, looking at the Ayin, and we're going to repeat what's in red and then continue to read what's in black. After 2, Akkad Shati.
Ashifi.
Right. And righteousness, leave me not to my oppressors. Arab, your servants well-being. Let not the proud oppress me. Anini, pine away for your deliverance, and for the word of your righteousness. Asha, your servant, according to your loving commitment, and teach me your statutes. Abadadak, I am. Make me understand, that I might know your witnesses. Ask for Yahuah to act, for they have broken your Torah. Al-Khan, I have loved your commands more than gold, even fine gold. Al-Khan, all your precepts I count as right. I have hated every false way. Yada Yahuah.
Rak Yahuah.
Rock Yahuah.
All right, so we're going to do praise and thanksgiving.
Across the nation, yeah. hold up the banner, guard the Torah.
I wonder who is stepping in their place.